this might be overkill, but I have 5 layers of flannel on my ironing board. I have 5 layers because I didn't want to cut it all up, and it was how much I had in my stash. So I laid that on I folded it until I had the right dimensions for my ironing board. And then on top of that, I have a piece of lawn, and I have this little piece like this to show you. I do have bigger pieces I use. This is just a lightweight cotton, and this one in particular is called lawn. I use that to cover the flannel when I'm ironing lace, because it's a little bit tacky when it's wet like this. All I did was rinse it and squeeze the excess water with a towel, or press the excess moisture out of it with the towel, and I came straight from the sink to here to iron. I don't wait for it to dry. It might curl just a little, but that's normal. Just make sure before you iron that the loops are rounded and not misshapen. And then I put the lawn down. I put this on it. If I put this directly on the flannel will stick to my lace, because the flannel has the little fuzziness on top, so you don't want to do that. I used to use wool underneath, which works great. 2 layers of wool blend from Joann's is what I used to use. And also I used to use, once in a while, was quilt batting. Over the years, I've used all 3 of these things, and I've ultimately ended up with this setup because I had a ton of flannel. So just whatever works for you. The idea is to create loft on your ironing board so that when you press your lace, the front of the lace will bloom. It gives the threads a place to go whenever you're pressing them from the top. I found this to be so much better than using a towel, because a towel, I think, makes the embroidery, in comparison, it looks hideous. So this is my method of doing it. I've been doing this for as long as I've been digitizing, which is, almost, 15 years. All right, so I lay the embroidery face down, and then for the first couple of passes, I will use my cotton on top, because I don't want the iron to stick to my stabilizer. When it's this wet, it's a little bit tacky, so I really don't want to have the iron stick to that. I'm using a very hot iron, the hottest setting, and I'll just set it on top and kind of wiggle it a little bit. You don't want to burn anything. All right, that's kind of hot. I'll wait for it to cool just for a few seconds. I'll peel this back. I'll remove this, and you can kind of see where it leaves an impression of the lace. That's how much loft is underneath, and allows the threads to kind of displace the loftiness there, so that they have a place to go without it creating resistance. I don't want to flatten the front of my embroidery. I'm moving it to a dry spot and pressing it again like this. So the first couple of passes, I'll use the lawn as a pressing cloth as well as a barrier underneath it. I want to get my embroidery nice and hot. I don't want to burn it. I just want to get it nice and hot because I'm trying to dry it. Looks like I held that a little long. It's okay. My lawn's a little yellow. That's all right. It's not too bad. All right. It's getting drier. Now it's starting to get a little stiff. And then the last couple of passes, I'm moving it to a dry spot. I will just press directly on it because I want the back of my embroidery to be nice and flat. I also do this with the angels since they're being used as ornaments. It just makes it into a nice, wafer thin, perfectly flat piece of lace. And it seems to set the threads so they're not so, I don't know, poofy on both sides. Here we go. And that is what ironing does. These It just sets everything in nicely, exactly where they're supposed to be. My embroidery usually has quite a bit of dimension, but after you iron it, it just brings it out even more.